Now, what could be the implications of retired boxing referee Carlos Sonny Padilla's admission about this match that happened over 2 decades ago? Well, let's find out. Joining us right now to go all out on this top story, we have former Australian boxer Nedal Hussein and his trainer for that particular fight against Manny Pacquiao, Hall of Famer Jeff Fenech. And they're both joining us live via Zoom from all the way from Sydney, Australia. I believe it's afternoon there right now. So good afternoon to both Jeff and Skinny. Welcome to Sports Desk on CNN Philippines. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Skinny, I think you're on mute. Skinny? Or is it Jeff?
1 sec.
Oh, Skinny, you're okay. Jeff, are you on mute?
Yeah, no, I can hear you. Thank you
very
much.
Okay, there you go.
Being with you. I'm great.
Thank you. Just testing our audio, making sure everything is good, audio and video. Okay, so now, since we're live on the show, I just want to ask Skinny first, Jeff, if you don't mind. So 22 years ago, you were persistent that you got robbed of a win against Manny Pacquiao, who's considered one of the greats in the world of boxing. It's been quite a long time. It's year 2022 now. A lot has happened. Now, retired referee Carlos Sonny Padilla admitted recently in an interview online that he helped, quote unquote, Pacquiao recover from that knockdown that you scored and that he sort of assisted Manny in winning that fight. Did it reopen old wounds for you? I want to get your initial reaction upon hearing that from retired referee Sonny Padilla upon seeing that video.
Look, we knew we were hard done by on the night. We knew that we got mistreated there. We didn't get a fair shake, but yeah. But him saying what he's saying was, mate, I'm not an angry guy. I don't get angry, but why was I angry that day? He came out and he said it with a ton of arrogance, and he was laughing, and he was smirking, and he was racist about it too. He's Filipino, I'm Filipino, the crowd is Filipino. Like, how can you even say that when you're a referee? You're meant to be neutral. Give both fighters a fair shake.
Jeff, you were Skinny's trainer. I can feel that pain, that anger, just listening to Skinny, and rightfully so after hearing that, which was this match happened over 20 years ago, back in year 2000, and just brings back a lot of painful memories for sure. Jeff, when you first saw this interview on WBC's online YouTube channel, what was the first thing that crossed your mind, Jeff?
My first thing was how stupid, how idiotic is the referee to get there and publicly say what me and Skinny already knew. And look, what people don't realise is, I got to the Philippines maybe a week after Nedal and his brother. When I got to the Philippines, Nedal was in a room that was it was like a shoebox. There was an air conditioner over his bed. If you put the air conditioner on, he froze. If you didn't put the air conditioner on, he sweated. And he was so sick for this fight, but he got out there and he'd done something that was amazing. He beat one of the greatest fighters in history. And Manny wasn't, he was on the way to being great then, but what they done to Nedal that night was really terrible. I mean, me and Nedal and our families went through that. But now to relive it and to listen to Carlos say that he actually cheated and did what he done, it's such a slur on the sport of boxing. And it's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't watch boxing, because they believe it is rigged, and they believe that referees and judges do these, things that aren't proper. And now he's just put the icing on the cake and just said what a crap sport that we're involved in.
Skinny, you also said, I was looking online, and you said in an interview, I believe, in Australia, that it was a disrespect to the sport. I just want to ask you this. Did you really think you won that fight against Manny Pacquiao 22 years ago, Skinny?
Oh, I know I won that fight. Friend. Listen, we're not claiming that if we went to the scorecards, we're going to get the result. We knew we were behind leading into the 10th round, but we still had 8 minutes to go in the fight. I hurt Manny every time I touched him. So I always had a puncher's chance to win in the fight, and he took it off me. I told him I can see. There was nothing wrong with my vision. But he was in Kudus with the doctor. He said it that he signaled to the doctor, and the doctor knew what he meant. So I don't think I was ever going to win that fight, to be honest.
Skinny, you've had a total of 48 fights, 43 wins, 27 by knockout. You only had 5 losses, and you won several titles in your illustrious career, including the Australian Super Bantamweight title, the Australian Bantamweight title, the IBF Pan Pacific Featherweight title, World WBF Featherweight title, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of titles. I won't name all your titles, but that loss to Manny Pacquiao 22 years ago, how did that, or did it really affect your career? How, and looking back after that incident, it took you 4 years before you got to fight for the world crown twice. Wasn't that enough time for you to move on from the incident? Or was it that heartbreaking, that painful, that it made a significant impact on your boxing career, Skinny?
You don't move on from corruption. It sits in your heart. You don't move on. There's a hate. I hated the politics of the sport. That's honest. I sincerely hated the politics. I was never the same. Not that we didn't train hard and we didn't show up on the night. I just didn't have that hunger and desire. I fought for a world title 4 years later, and I barely threw any punches. Jeff pleaded with me in the corner to put a work rate. I just didn't have the hunger or the fight in me to try to win. That referee on that night took everything out of me. That's the honest truth. And all the other belts I won, they mean nothing next to a world title. That's the honest truth.
Jeff, you are an icon of the sport, 4-division world champion. You know the feeling how to be on top. I know you felt, and you still feel, really, really bad for Skinny, who's not just your boxer, but a good friend. Because like what he said, he was deprived of that chance to be on top. Yes, he had so many belts under him as well, but still that particular fight, knowing what could have been. How painful is that for you, Jeff, knowing that your boxer, your friend, was denied of a shot at boxing glory and become a world champion, and what could have happened had the result was different that time around?
Yeah, definitely so. Look, you asked Skinny about winning the fight. If Carlos just counted the 10 properly, we would have won the fight. The fight was over. If Carlos didn't stop or stopped Manny from holding Nedal and let Nedal just punch with his hands that were free, the fight was over as well. So, look, although it went a little longer, and obviously Manny was getting back into the fight, and like I said, we had reasons for that as well, because I said nobody really realises how sick Nedal was when we went into that fight. He had the worst cold, but like I said, we've never made an excuse. But just now to sit down 22 years later to hear Carlos actually say what he said, it's heartbreaking, and it makes me want to go fly over there and see the guy and break his neck. Like I wanted to break his neck that night. If they didn't run him away from me and hide him from me, and I told him that night, I'll never forget what I said to him. I said, I will see you at one of the conventions, and I will confront you about what you've done to my boxer. I've never seen him again in my life, because he'll never travel where I am, because like I said, I'm passionate and I love my fighters. And Nedal done a great job that night, and it spoiled his career, it ruined his career. That hunger was gone. Like he just said, there were days I'd try to push him in fights. I was wondering, what's wrong with this kid? Where's this boy who had this mad hunger and this killer? It was gone.
Mm-hmm.
It left him that night, and I just feel sorry for him. I mean, and like I said, as much as I love Skinny and I feel sorry for the sport of boxing, for this crazy man to get out and say what he said, because now we're going to think of how many other times it happened, and it's happened many, many more times. It happened to me against Zuma Nelson. It happened to Roy Jones in the Olympics. It's happened to so many other fighters, and we need to fix it. When a referee does it wrong like this, well, the first thing they should do is they should take him out of all the Hall of Fames. Anything that he's got, any credit that he's got out of the sport of boxing should be eliminated. What he should be, he's ruined the sport. What he said in his last interview actually puts a very, very black mark on the sport of boxing.
Skinny, I heard, now let's moving forward now. I heard you have discussed this matter with your lawyer, and you're taking legal action. Can you give us an update?
I've sent Jeff it's just, mate, I'd like it to be a no contest. I'm not claiming that I'm the winner. I want you to reverse the decision. Nothing. Manny's a victim in this as well, because people are shitting on Manny on social media. They're shitting on me. There's no good in it. All I want is awareness for the referees and judges that they should be held accountable for what they do, because the fighter's destiny and their fate is in the hands of the referee and judges, and it's not fair they take it off them. You know, if you lose fair and square, you can live with it, you can move on. But when there's cheating, corruption involved, it's a hard pill to swallow.
Well, from where I'm looking at right now, looking at you, hearing you guys, I can sense of course, the pain, the anger again, and then you're entitled to that, and I respect you guys for that. But looking at you right now, Skinny, on the lighter side, can you show me your biceps? You're still looking in really good shape, excellent shape, Skinny. You're still in tip top.
Hey, I'll show you those.
Your uncle owes me one more. So
I see all your belts. Skinny, here's a question.
Yeah.
Manny will.
Your uncle owes me.
What's that?
Your uncle Carlos Padilla, he owes me one more belt. He's got my green and gold one. He gave it to the wrong opponent.
Skinny, I don't know if you've heard, but Manny Pacquiao will fight in at least 2 exhibition matches next month in Korea. The other one will be in the Middle East early next year. Is that something that you would like to consider? I'm just throwing it out there. An exhibition rematch, I know it's been 22 years, but if a rematch there is being tossed, an idea like that, Jeff, Skinny, will you be open for that rematch with Manny Pacquiao?
Ask Jeff. I'll do what Jeff tells me.
I'd leave that to Skinny. I mean, like Skinny's not skinny anymore, he's fatty, but listen, I mean, it would be great for Skinny to have this opportunity to earn some money, because he deserves it. I mean, what he went through in the Philippines and what he done then was, he done everything he was supposed to do, and the people that are supposed to, get the credit for refereeing and judges, they stole that opportunity off him. And I mean, he can never get it back again. Like I said, it's way past him, like I said, and he's not blaming Manny, and even why, because I'm sure Manny had no idea of what Carlos has just been saying, but it's quite obvious that Carlos done that for a reason. And I mean, he said you can't come out and say it the way he said it, word for word, and the way the fight happened, if he didn't know that he was doing that.
Okay, last question for both of you. Sorry, we don't have much time anymore, but thank you again for being on the show live on Sports Desk on CNN Philippines. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Skinny. Any message you want to say to retired referee Carlos Sonny Padilla, to Manny Pacquiao, to the Filipino fans in general, or the World Boxing Council? Skinny, you want to go first?
The WBC Council should be held accountable for the officials they put on the night. Nothing against Manny Pacquiao. I'm a big fan of Manny. I think he's done amazing for the sport. And he's another bloke that's been hard done by in the ring as well. But he's moved on. He's won fights. He's lost fights. He's good for the sport. But Carlos Padilla is no more than a criminal. That's what he is. He's a criminal. He did a criminal act. He violated the rules. He manipulated the rules, and he should be accountable for what he did. Take him out of the Hall of Fame. He's got no position in the Hall of Fame.
Jeff?
Oh, no, I'm just happy that, Skinny was able to, just make a point today. Because like I said, I trained this boy so hard. He worked, everything was to be successful. And, a referee took that away from us. And still to this day, when referees or judges make mistakes, they still referee and judge them next week. They're still they're never accountable for the mistakes they make. And I just hope that this sets a precedent, and that all the referees and judges that are looking at me talk and Skinny talk, look, just remember there's a red corner and a blue corner. There's not a Filipino and a Lebanese or an Australian boy. There's just a red corner and a blue corner. And until we get that right, boxing's always going to be questionable.
Thank you again for being here on the show. I really appreciate for you guys taking time and airing out your sentiments. Thank you. Deep down from Sports Desk here on CNN Philippines, thank you once again, and for airing out your side. Again, joining us this morning, former Manny Pacquiao opponent Nedal Skinny Hussein, and his trainer for that fight, Boxing Hall of Famer Jeff Fenech. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Skinny. Stay safe. CNN Philippines has reached out as well to Manny Pacquiao's camp for comment, but we have yet to receive a reply from Manny Pacquiao's camp as of this time.